Okay, the question is, which god do we most align with? Is it Barath, the god of death, doorways, mortality, and inevitability? The keeper of the cycle of life and death, Barath is sought to see claim the lives of those who have lived past their time. According to folklore, Barath is seen most often in the form of a pallid knight or the usher, two skeletal characters who lead such people to their deaths by way of challenge or trickery. Not us. Galawain, god of the hunt, assassins, pursuit, wilderness, and predatory creatures. Takes the form of a fur-clad hunter or of a great hound. Galawain favors the survival of the strong and the culling of the weak. Not quite. So Woedica is inactive. Rimgand, god of entropy, cold, winter, bad luck, famine, and natural disasters. I don't think so.
Huh?
Hylia, Hylia. Goddess of the sky, maternity, creativity, birds, song, invention, language, and the arts. Not known to take a particular physical form, but thought to be present in birds of all kinds. You know, she sounds the nicest. But why go with nice? Because we have a dark side. You kneel before the shrine and prepare to recite the ritual words. I'm guessing there is life in death and death in life. There's a rippling shift in the air around you, as if some unfelt wind has changed, bringing unexpected warmth. You feel the peculiar weight of an unseen presence and of eyes upon you. You kneel and pray to Barath, even while your eyes are closed, and you see a road that seems to stretch on forever. The stars wheel overhead in a clockwork rotation of constellations, disappearing over the horizon to your left only to rise on your right. You try to make out the details on either side of the road, but your eyes can't seem to focus. One moment you think you see a meadow blanketed with mist and another sheer canyon walls. For just an instant, you even see waves lapping at the edge of the road. Were you to step into the shifting landscape, you feel certain you would only end up back on the road. You know this is a vision, but the packed dirt feels firm beneath your feet and the night air cool on your face. You are walking, your feet seem to carry you forward of their own accord. Something looms ahead of you. As you get closer, you see two stone figures that look strangely familiar. Daunin That's Elvish. Two of the oldest representations of Barath. You remember the door to Cleben Rillag, and the two figures carved into the mountain next to it. One looks vaguely male and the other vaguely female. Only a thin layer of flesh covers their skeletal bodies, which twist to face the doorway between them. The doorway, however, is not what you saw in the ruins. It's a skull, gaping and jawless, and as you look on, its open mouth seems to grow. That's right, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em. We're joining Theos and his team. We're joining the whatever his team is called. The Leaden Key. That's right. Because they all worship Barath too. The arms of the two stone sculptures are swept toward the mouth, inviting you in. Enter the skull's mouth. The road continues through the maw to another shifting landscape surrounded by stars. As you pass through it, you see an identical doorway in the distance. A dwarven man stands near it, unmoving. You turn and look behind you, only to see the skull gate just past, facing you. An elven woman waits on the road. Like the dwarf, she stands still. Approach the elven woman. You start toward her. There's something unnatural about the way she stands. She's too still. When you get closer, you see that her legs taper into a slender trunk, and in place of her feet are gnarled, twisting roots. She lifts her face to an invisible sun. Her long golden hair is the color of autumn leaves, and as you look more closely, you realize that her head is actually covered with tendrils and vines sprouting brilliant yellow leaves. Each glimmers with the essence of an entire soul. She gives you a beatific smile. As you look on, the leaves slowly fall from her head and settle at her roots. They melt into the path beneath her, and almost immediately new leaves sprout in the place of the old. She reaches toward you, still smiling, as roots spring from her fingertips. Her outstretched arms bar the path. Come, graft your soul to the golden grove. Not sure I want to do that. Attack her. You swing at her, trying to knock her arm away from you. We love hitting women. Well, she's made of wood, so she's made of sturdier stuff. We wouldn't normally do this to those women clad in flesh. Yet as your blow connects, you feel her skin grow rigid and cold. Her outstretched arm petrifies, and as a rough stone bark overtakes her flesh, she can only look on in horror. Her feet are rooted in place, but she twists and writhes as if trying to flee her own dying limb. The petrification reaches her shoulder and spreads down her body, freezing it in a painful arc. It creeps up her neck, and she throws her face skyward like a drowning swimmer. The grayness covers her face, freezing her grasp in stone. Now that she is still and lifeless, you can continue past her. Choose your own adventure. Only the golden leaves on her head remain untouched, and as you watch, they fall one by one to the path below. They shrivel as the shimmering essence fades from them. You lift your gaze and see the dwarven man standing further down the road. Approach the dwarven man. You continue down the road toward him. He looks up at you as you approach, but you can't tell if he's looking at you or through you. His face is smooth but flaccid, as if the flesh has detached from the muscles underneath. As you look on, his face begins to change. Wrinkles crack at the corners of his eyes. His mouth sinks, carving deep lines from his nose to the corners of his lips. His jowls sag and the loose flesh hangs like dough. He raises his cupped hands. They're covered in blood. He lifts them to his face and smears himself from his newly creased forehead to the wattles of his neck. As he massages the dark sticky fluid into his skin, the fresh wrinkles disappear. The hanging folds recede, and his flesh tightens as if re-adhering to his skull. Freaky. He lifts his head, and this time you know he's looking at you. His renewed face looks like a mask, artificially smooth and still. Behind it, his black eyes are two hungry pits, yawning like the empty mouths of skulls. Come, make your sacrifice to the Ethic Knoll. His body blocks the path. He extends a bloody hand toward you. Take his hand. You grab his hand, but his skin gives too easily under your grip. As you try to pull away, you hear a noise like dried canvas tearing. His skin splits, following a long seam that begins at his arm and stretches the length of his body. Blood gushes forth in such quantities that you can't imagine there was ever anything else in him. Sure enough, as the dwarf empties of blood, he collapses like a desiccated husk. The blood in the past gleams with 1,000 souls worth of essence. The essence evaporates, trailing shining filaments into the night sky. Only now that he is dead can you continue onward. The blood pools around your feet, and a voice echoes down the road, barely more than a whisper on the breeze. Return them to the wheel. You look up and see the skull gate ahead of you. The candles of Ter Avron wink through the open mouth. Oh no, we're being returned to the wheel? I hope it's the wheel of time and not the wheel of pain. Okay, so the end of... Let's see what the journal says. Uh... Okay, Bareth gave me a vision of a dwarf and an elf and an eerie road. Both perished at my touch. Okay, we're a servant of death now. My. Bareth, the god of death and rebirth, showed me a vision of an elven woman and a dwarven man stopped on a road. My touch slew them, and only then was I able to continue along the path. I think this is the god's way of telling me that these two individuals have cheated death for too long. Ending their lives would no doubt please Bareth. The dwarf in the vision had an eerily ageless face, and he seemed to renew himself with the blood of others. He said something about the ethic knoll. When I learn who or what this is, he will no doubt be nearby. The elven woman was strangely tree-like in the vision. She mentioned a place called the Golden Grove. Man, this is not going to end well for anybody. But it's the path we chose, and we're sticking to it. Petition Hylia. Okay, let's talk to Hylia. You step before the shrine, prepare to recite the ritual words. Let's look up Hylia again. The sky, maternity, creativity, birds, song, invention, language, and the arts. Not known to take a particular physical form, but thought to be present in birds of all kinds. So what could her ritual words be? What would a bird say? That sounds right. Live every note of life's song. Your words seem to ring in the air, your voice rendered melodic and lilting by some unseen art. While you pray, you feel the space around your body shift and blah 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 blah. I seek an audience with Hylia. No, I think we need to whistle. Whistle to the bird. You whistle the first tune that pops into your head. The sparrow blinks its beady eyes and hops closer to you along the branch. It bobs its tiny head and opens its beak, and the rich, trilling melody that spills forth is the song of a chorus of birds. A massive flock descends with a thundering of wings and whooping, screeching, chirping calls. They fill the boughs of the tree by the thousands, birds of every shape, size, and color nestling next to one another. Hylia. A breeze ripples through the air, the limbs sway, creaking with a strange, gentle rhythm. A few hundred of the birds flit from their branches, forming a brilliantly variegated flock in front of the tree. As they meet and swoop in unison, you catch a glimpse of someone looking back at you, cloaked by the flurry of feathers. Watcher, I believe we stand in the legendary court of birds. She closed her eyes and raises her face to the sky. I feel a presence, warmth, and hope.
You journeyed to my temple and rid it of the dragon. Now my faithful may return, singing their joy to the skies and praising me through their creation.
Good, now I was hoping to ask a favor.
A favor for a favor, is that it? Not an unwelcome suggestion, so long as we share one purpose.
I came to you for aid. I need to get to Sun and Shat. Oh, wait a minute. I'm listening. The bird returns to the tree and nestles among their peers. The breeze ripples through the branches again, carrying the goddess's voice.
You must stop Theos, and you must undo the tragedy he has wrought.
The grieving mother rocks on her feet. There is a way, Watcher. There is hope yet. Birds all over the tree begin to chirp and sing, and in the rise and fall of their voices, Hylia speaks. Theos acts but is moved by another. The exiled queen whispers in his ear, urges him to rob the living and the unborn of their souls for her benefit. And he has obeyed. The exiled queen. A hawk shifts on its perch. She will consume them, grow powerful while 1,000 empty children are born. But there is still time to reverse this tragedy. Alright, so there's some kind of evil queen creature that is soaking up souls. We need to stop her. How could I return things to the way they were? How could I return things to the way they were? Yes. Because my primary objective is to rid myself of this ability to see into human lives, or any life, really. The birds suddenly fall silent, watching you. The voice on the wind returns. Guide the trapped souls back to the bodies they were stolen from, hollow-born children whose eyes had never seen the sun. The grieving mother claps her hands once, setting off the music of chimes. After long years, let their wounds be healed, their tears dried. You could restore them, give their families hymns of joy after years of lament. The breeze tickles your ear. Peace and restoration give purpose to suffering. There is no meaning, no redemption in pain that does not lead to fulfillment. Symmetry demands that great rejoicing follow suffering such as this. I'm not sure that it's possible to truly undo the harm Theos has caused. Yeah, that's a good statement. You hear the cry of a swift, soft, and plaintive. That's bad English, man. Perhaps the years cannot be forgotten, and for some, perhaps it is already too late. But if you could restore even one soul, kindle one spark of life, raise one voice in joy, it would be worth it. There's another side to this. His tone is cautious. You've seen the consequences of a soul disjointed from its own cycle. Could these children ever truly return? Perhaps it would be better to allow these souls to find new lives. The grieving mother grapes at you in horror. Give them first these lives, Watcher. Let them know the love of parents who waited for them, tended them, and let their return bring healing to the Dyrwood. How can they continue to another when they have not fully lived this life? To pass them along to another now is cutting a stanza from a poem, a verse from a song. Thank you, Hylia. I will continue to Sun and Shadow.
When you reach the burial isle, you will find souls there that I have granted reprieve for their sins. I give these to you, for only they can bear you to safety on your journey down. And when you face Theos and the rotting fruits of his endeavors, remember the conversation we have had. In that moment, you will have power rivaling a god's. And after it, you will live in the world that you have chosen. Choose Restoration, Watcher. Return the souls to the bodies they were stolen from. Swear to me that you will do this, and I shall give you power to make even Woodica quake. I can be merciful and terrible, Watcher.
Alright, we don't want to fuck with you. We get that. The grieving mother's eyes are fever bright. Watcher, this is the hope I have held to, that the children of the Dyrwood might be restored, their families healed. Let us bring Hylia's restoration to this country. I swear to return the souls to the hollow-born children of the Dyrwood. And I shall remember. The dark wing snaps shut, and the tiny sparrow flits to your shoulder. It tilts its head back and opens its beak, and the song that spills forth is like nothing you've ever heard. Melodies at once mournful and beautiful entrance you. The world becomes a place of pure color and sound. Each perfect moment follows the next like the lines of a poem or the bar of a song. You awaken as if from a dream, standing at Ter Evron. Hylia's song and the power of her blessing follows you still. Let's see what the journal had to say. Okay. The gods are willing to offer great power in exchange for a promise to deal with the stolen souls in the manner of their choosing. There would, however, be a price for betrayal. I swore to Hylia that I would return the souls to hollow-born children. She gave me her power. Whatever that is. Let's see what her power is. Unclear what her power... Oh, here we are. +1 perception, +1 lore. Okay. Let's pray to them all. He is a hound and a hunter. Survival begins with strength from within. The air around you stirs, and a gust of warm wind blows across the back of your neck. You catch the faintest smell of wet earth. As you kneel in front of the shrine, you feel yourself blah 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 blah. Something leaps from the bushes. You find yourself pinned on your back and staring into the amber eyes of a massive hound. The beast looks at you. Gleaming fangs protrude from the sides of its mouth. Its nose twitches as it inhales your scent, starting at your shoulder and proceeding down the length of your arm. You follow its nose to your hand, which is covered in blood. A tongue as red and meaty as a steak lolls out of its mouth and swipes your bloody hand. Its lips curl into what looks like a smile. The beast looks back at you, and as it fixes you with its glowing eyes, its muscle retreats into a long bearded face, and its pointed ears lengthen, dropped, blah 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 blah.
Tread carefully. Let my face be a warning sign to always treat Galawain and his messengers with caution and reverence.
Sol is dead, and so is her legacy. You have cut down a fierce and cunning line.
That's right. We did interfere and we were made to be judges of a contest between two great beasts that are revered by the Glenfathen people. I think they're Glenfathen. I don't know what they are. Wernos was clearly the stronger of the two, but Sol was protected in her den. He deserved victory.
Worthiness is proven in conflict. Might grappling with might. Flesh tears, bones break, and the ones that mend are stronger still. Blood mixes, and the worthier substance rises to the top. And you have proven worthy.
He lets out a howl that rings through the air. He lowers his head, puffs of steam rising from his panting mouth. Twigs crunch and branches snap. The ground shivers under the weight of pacing, prowling footsteps. A dozen beasts, bears, wolves, and long-fanged cats stalk out of the undergrowth, their matching amber eyes fast on you. Is this how you would threaten us, Galawain, with cats and dogs? As the beasts encircle you, their master rises to his feet. Even the largest of the bears can only reach his browned and muscle-knotted shoulders. You stand, mindful of the ring of predators surrounding you.
You sought and won the favor of Galawain. What new prey do you now pursue?
I must stop Theos Ix Arcanon from feeding thousands of souls to Woedica. A sudden blast of heat scalds your face, and even as you turn away, a flash of light sears your vision through your eyelids. When you look back, you see a woman in full plate standing next to Galawain.
So you know. No doubt one of the others has already enlisted you, and with a different purpose. Nevertheless, hear us.
Track Theos. Follow the trail he has left for you, and corner him in sun and shadow.
You must stop him before he empowers Woedica.
And if you do, you will have a different decision to make.
I have a really bad feeling that this decision is a trap. I mean, how often do the gods really leave the decisions up to mortals like us?
Souls were ripped from the world, ripe and full and pulsing with essence. Scatter them like bones to a pack of dogs. Their essence will strengthen the souls of the Dyrwood. Let the remains of the dead feed the survivors.
So the Dyrwood animal souls will devour these these bipedal, the souls of people, and that's what they want us to do. So that doesn't sound too good. Why would I feed the lost soul's essence to the rest of the Deerwood?
To breed strength. Power is born from the mixing of essence and blood.
What Theos did cannot be undone. Thousands of lives have changed, and thousands more have ended because of his actions. But transformation gives purpose to trial.
And improvement is the goal of all Kith. Long lives, prosperous futures, stronger minds and bodies. Strengthening those who remain will help repair the damage that Theos has done to the Deerwood.
Alright, so this is like a triad of gods. Abaddon just popped up. Now I've got to find Theos.
And when you descend the pit to Sun in Shadow, you can count on our assistance to see you safely through. As I hope we can count on yours when you reach the bottom. There are many souls upon the Burial Isle that are sworn to serve us. They belong to you now, and they shall guide your descent.
Durance's face is grave. Beware the promises of a God Watcher. They are binding, but only in one direction. He's warning us about the goddess he worships, Magran. Galawain. The beasts grow restless, pawing the ground and eyeing you with renewed interest. The bear sniffs at the ground next to your leg. Once Stelgar skulks into the circle, its amber eyes glowing. Galawain hurls his knife between your feet, sticking it to its handle. He raises his empty hand.
Hunt him, mortal. And when you stop him, let the souls he has captured feed the Deerwood.
Strengthen the souls of those who remain. Prepare them to face the challenges that will follow. Pledge that you will do this, and we will grant you a power fit for the finest warrior who ever lived.
Betray us, and my beasts shall track you down. Our allegiance is not to be accepted and cast aside.
My friend, this is a most auspicious moment. The Lord of the Hunt has spoken to you without omission or riddles. Heed what he said about his beast seeking you out should you stray from the task, for it is not an empty promise.
I would hear what the other gods have to say first. I need to think about this.
Consider and calculate, but decide.
Galawain's hands falls, and the growling pack lunges into the circle. The vision vanishes in an instant, returning you to Ter Evron, where burning candles replace the glowing eyes of Galawain's beasts. And I shall see you in the next edition.